Today's podcast is called It's Still Abuse If. Many victims of abuse are quick to deny that they're actually being abused or have been abused. After being beaten by her husband, a woman may claim she deserved it because she didn't do something he wanted her to do, or he had too much to drink before he hit her. A man is even less likely to admit being abused thanks to the ridiculous attitude society has that women can't abuse men. Men would rather convince themselves it wasn't abuse than to deal with the disrespect they will receive if they admit it was. Unfortunately, such denials are normal for many victims of abuse. I did it myself. Growing up, I told myself my mother was simply overprotective of me, and my father needed me to take care of him rather than him take care of me. I was in my late teens when I realized my mother wasn't simply overprotective, and about 30 years old when I realized my father was also abusive. I thought today it'd be a good idea to spell out some facts about abuse that are commonly ignored, minimized, or even denied to help people face the truth about abuse in their life. I know this is a painful thing to face, but it truly is better to face it. Once you face it, you can start to heal. The pain you feel at facing the truth is absolutely going to be worth it when you can heal. It's still abuse if it wasn't physical. Abuse comes in many forms. Someone can abuse you even if he or she never hit you. Harsh words, criticisms, intimidation, invalidation, mind games, forcing you to perform sexual acts in spite of you not wanting to, isolating you from friends and family, controlling your money, and twisting scripture to claim God is angry with you are all examples of abusive behavior that's not physical. It's still abuse if your abuser apologized. Abusers often apologize, claiming they won't do what they did ever again. And for a while they don't. Things are good. Suddenly, though, once they believe you're comfortable again, they go back into old patterns. An apology without genuine efforts to change bad behavior long term is still abuse. It's still abuse if your abuser told you they loved you. Abusers claim to love their victim. Maybe some do on some level, but that doesn't mean abusing you is acceptable just because you think this person may love you. It's still abuse if your abuser was abused as a child. The phrase hurting people hurt people is often a lie said by abusers and their enablers as a way to excuse abusive behavior. Countless children have been abused, yet grow up to become kind, compassionate people who would rather do anything but hurt another person. It's still abuse if your abuser has mental illness. There are relatively few people with a mental illness who truly don't know right from wrong. Unless your abuser is one of those few people, he or she is using mental illness as an excuse to abuse. It's still abuse if there were good times in your relationship with your abuser. No relationship is completely abusive. If so, abusers would be so much easier to identify. Good times are natural in a relationship with abusers, but they don't nullify the abusive behavior. It's still abuse if your abuser is your elderly parent. Many people are often under the delusion that all older folks are sweet and kind, especially to their own family. Nothing could be further from the truth. There are plenty of lovely older folks, but not all of them are. Many of them are as cruel to their adult children as they were when they were younger. They just change their tactics a bit to adjust with age. It's still abuse if your abuser is a relative. Many people put family on a pedestal as if it's impossible for family members to abuse each other. I can tell you this is a complete lie because I have been abused by several of my family members. In fact, family members can be the worst abusers of all. If you recognize some of these behaviors in someone that you're in a bad relationship with, then the relationship is abusive. You have the right to protect yourself from this behavior. Exercise that right. Do what you have in order to protect yourself from this person, even if it means ending the relationship. If you don't know what to do, pray. Ask God to help you. Learn all you can about toxic relationships. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Join online forums. Read books. Do whatever you have to do to learn about your toxic situation so you can form a plan on how to deal with it. Thank you for listening to my podcast.